I mean, it's just crazy. We've talked about, alternative theories to how the pyramids were built.
Yeah. I'm willing to accept that the Great Pyramid was largely completed by the ancient Egyptians. But remember that the ancient Egyptians tell us in many of their texts that everything they knew was a legacy. It was all an inheritance of the gods, and I don't construe the gods as aliens.
When we think of pyramids, our minds immediately journey to Egypt. The towering Giza Plateau, with its majestic stone structures, has long captured the world's fascination. But what if we told you that Egypt didn't build the first pyramids? Long before the sands of the Sahara surrounded the grand monuments of the pharaohs, a lesser-known civilization to the south built pyramids that have stood for millennia. Today, these mysterious structures quietly guard their ancient secrets. This is the story of Meroe, an ancient city in the heart of modern-day Sudan, where the first man-made pyramids may have risen and where we begin to unravel a mystery that challenges everything we thought we knew about ancient history. Let us set the scene. We are not in Egypt, but in the vast expanse of the Sudanese desert. Here, nestled in a stark, arid landscape, lie over 200 pyramids, concentrated in a city that once rivaled the grandeur of any ancient Egyptian metropolis. This city is Meroe, the capital of the powerful Kingdom of Kush, a civilization that flourished for nearly 1,000 years. But Meroe's legacy is far more than a simple footnote in Egyptian history. It's a place where the lines between myth, architecture, and human achievement blur into one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of antiquity. Our modern awareness of Meroe began in the 19th century, when European explorers ventured into the Sudanese desert. In 1821, they uncovered these stunning pyramids, which had been hidden for centuries beneath the sands. The explorers found a cluster of pyramids, some grand and towering, others smaller and more modest, yet all steeply angled with narrow bases, distinctly different from the broad, sloping forms of Egyptian pyramids. And while Egypt's pyramids were grand tombs for pharaohs, Meroe's served a different purpose. They were built for nobles and royals alike. But when exactly were these pyramids built and why? Archaeologists determined that Meroe's pyramids were constructed between 300 BCE and 350 CE, during a time when the Kingdom of Kush was a powerful force in Africa. This makes Meroe's pyramids younger than Egypt's Old Kingdom pyramids, but their purpose and design remain equally as fascinating. Many scholars theorize that Meroe's architectural style was influenced by earlier structures from the region, potentially dating back even further. Transporting the massive stones used to build these pyramids was no small feat. Some of the stones were quarried from sites over 25 miles away and weighed several tons. How could an ancient civilization, lacking modern tools and technology, achieve such monumental tasks? The logistics of transporting and constructing these structures in an unforgiving desert environment continue to puzzle researchers. To put this in perspective, the Great Pyramid of Giza contains stones weighing up to 80 tons, whereas the largest pyramid at Meroe, the Pyramid of Amenemhat, used stones weighing between 1 and 2 tons. While lighter, these stones were no less challenging to transport, raising questions about how these ancient builders accomplished such feats. What's more intriguing is that Meroe's pyramids were built in a different context than those of Egypt. While Egyptian pyramids served as grand burial tombs for kings and pharaohs, the pyramids at Meroe were constructed for a broader group of nobles, queens, and princes. But why did the people of Meroe embrace pyramid building at all? Inside the tombs of Meroe, archaeologists found a remarkable fusion of Egyptian and African symbolism. Hieroglyphics and carvings covered the walls, but the faces depicted were distinctly African, signifying a culture that blended Egyptian influences with its own deep-rooted identity. Meroe wasn't merely a reflection of Egypt, it was a civilization that commanded power and respect in its own right. Stretching over 600 miles along the Nile, the Kingdom of Kush became a dominant force in trade and culture across northeast Africa. Yet the pyramids of Meroe raise more questions than they answer. Why, after centuries of success, did the Kingdom of Kush turn to pyramid building? Some scholars believe these pyramids were intended to strengthen Meroe's political and spiritual power, symbolizing divine kingship and cementing the kingdom's claim to leadership in the region. Others argue that they served as a tribute to Egyptian influences, while the most radical theory suggests that Meroe may have been the true originator of pyramid building. Let's consider this possibility. Recent archaeological evidence has revealed older, smaller pyramid-like structures in Sudan, dating as far back as the 8th century BCE, long before the construction of Egypt's famous monuments. These burial mounds, known as tumuli, could have evolved into the grand pyramids we see at Meroe today. Could it be that Egypt's most iconic structures were influenced by the Kushites rather than the other way around? It's a theory that challenges the traditional narrative of history, suggesting that Meroe's civilization may have pioneered innovations long before their Egyptian neighbors. As we dig deeper into the sands of history, the mysteries surrounding Meroe's pyramids only grow. Could the origins of pyramid building lie not in Egypt, but in this forgotten kingdom to the south? Meroe was more than just a city of pyramids. It was a thriving center of industry and trade, with remarkable advancements that rivaled many other ancient civilizations. One of Meroe's most significant achievements was its mastery of ironworking. Scattered across the landscape, archaeologists have uncovered iron furnaces, a testament to a sophisticated industry that flourished long before many other ancient civilizations had harnessed such technology. This begs the question: how did the Kingdom of Kush develop these advanced techniques? Some believe that the iron was used to forge weapons, providing the Kushite warriors with a formidable edge in battle. Others argue that Meroe's iron was used for agricultural tools, enabling the cultivation of vast swathes of fertile land along the Nile, and allowing the kingdom to sustain its growing population. But perhaps the most intriguing theory suggests that Meroe's iron products were traded far and wide, reaching the Mediterranean and perhaps even India, indicating that this kingdom played a central role in the ancient global economy. Equally fascinating is Meroe's sophisticated water management system. Archaeologists have discovered an elaborate network of reservoirs and dams that allowed the people of Meroe to control the seasonal floodwaters of the Nile, ensuring a stable supply of water for agriculture. This level of engineering sophistication was far ahead of its time, surpassing even some of the water management techniques used in Egypt. Could it be that Meroe, not Egypt, held the key to ancient water engineering? And how much of this knowledge was passed down or lost over the centuries? But not all of Meroe's mysteries come from clear evidence. Some of the most tantalizing questions remain shrouded in conspiracy and speculation. One popular theory suggests that Meroe's decline was not a result of natural collapse but of deliberate sabotage. After the Romans conquered Egypt, could they have seen Meroe as a threat? Did they systematically erase this powerful kingdom from history to secure their dominance over the Nile region? This theory becomes even more intriguing when we consider the state of the pyramids themselves. Unlike the carefully maintained pyramids of Egypt, the pyramids of Meroe were intentionally defaced. Their smooth limestone casing was stripped away, leaving them exposed to the harsh desert winds. But who did this, and why? Was it Roman forces seeking to obliterate Meroe's legacy, or was there an internal conflict that led to the destruction of these grand monuments? Then there are whispers of a lost treasure buried within the pyramids, a fortune that has yet to be discovered. But perhaps the most valuable treasure Meroe has to offer is not gold or jewels, but knowledge. The understanding of an ancient world that continues to challenge everything we thought we knew about history. The pyramids of Meroe may not be as famous as the pyramids of Giza, but they are more numerous and cover a broader landscape that once teemed with life and activity. The construction techniques, while different, display an ingenuity that rivals that of Egypt's builders. And while Egypt's pyramids were built for a select few god kings, Meroe's were designed for a wider range of society, reflecting a more diverse and inclusive social structure. Mystery, intrigue, and a lost civilization waiting to be rediscovered. This is the true legacy of Meroe. As the sands continue to shift over the ancient city, they may one day reveal even more secrets about this extraordinary civilization. Could it be that Meroe, not Egypt, is where the story of pyramids and so much more truly began?
Like many travelers before me, I too have reached the gates of Timbuktu. Timbuktu the mysterious, Timbuktu the holder of secrets, Timbuktu the center of knowledge. Timbuktu was one of the wonders of the ancient world. It was a type of Shangri-La or Atlantis, where people thought that there was a land beyond the deserts of the Sahara where gold lined the streets, and it was a type of sumptuous kingdom.
Beneath the scorching sun and swirling sands of the Sahara Desert lies a city whose very name invokes mystery and wonder, Timbuktu. Once a beacon of trade, knowledge, and wealth, today it is known by few, understood by even fewer. Yet, Timbuktu is not just a relic of the past. It is a testament to human ambition, ingenuity, and survival in one of the harshest environments on Earth. But how did this fabled city come to be? How could a thriving center of wealth and knowledge emerge in the heart of a seemingly inhospitable desert?
Timbuktu has different phases within its existence, and all of the groups participated in the different phases of development.
Our journey begins in the early 14th century, during the reign of the Malian emperor Mansa Musa. His wealth was so immense that his pilgrimage to Mecca reportedly devalued gold in regions he passed through. Yet Musa's most enduring legacy was not his riches, it was the flourishing of Timbuktu, a city destined to become a hub for commerce and scholarship. The first mystery of Timbuktu, however, lies not in its origin, but in what was discovered centuries later. In the early 19th century, European explorers, lured by tales of an elusive golden city, crossed the Sahara in search of wealth. What they found, instead, was an ancient city built from colossal blocks of stone and mud brick. Structures like the Jingwereber Mosque and Sankore University stood as monumental testaments to human craftsmanship, their towers defying the desert's harsh elements for centuries. The first question emerges here: how were these structures built? Some of the stones used in Timbuktu's buildings weighed up to 2 tons and were transported from quarries more than 30 miles away. Modern engineers remain puzzled by how this was achieved without advanced machinery. How could ancient builders move such massive stones across the unforgiving landscape of the Sahara? Did they possess knowledge that modern civilization has lost? This mystery is the first clue to Timbuktu's mysterious past. An engineering prowess seemingly out of place in a desert that by all accounts should have made such construction impossible.
They found that there were these actually very, very sophisticated, very complex mud brick structures on a very large scale.
But as we look deeper into Timbuktu's history, we discover something even more astonishing. By the 15th century, Timbuktu had become a thriving intellectual hub, housing some of the greatest libraries in the world. Manuscripts covering subjects such as astronomy, mathematics, medicine, and law were studied and preserved here. Scholars from across the Islamic world traveled to this remote city, transforming it into a center of learning that rivaled some of the greatest educational institutions of the time. And yet, one question lingers. How did such an intellectual center thrive in a place so isolated?
It became an intellectual center because the scholars generally were traveling with the caravans.
Was it simply Timbuktu's strategic location along trade routes, or could there be something more? Some researchers believe that Timbuktu's placement precisely at the edge of the Sahara and along the Niger River may have held deeper significance. Could ancient civilizations have chosen this location based on an advanced understanding of geography or even astronomy? A provocative theory suggests that Timbuktu might lie on one of the Earth's natural energy pathways, ley lines, that have been revered by ancient cultures across the world. Could its success as a city of knowledge and wealth have been linked to its placement on one of these energy nodes? As we ponder these questions, another mystery unfolds. Recent discoveries have revealed that many of the original manuscripts from Timbuktu's libraries, some dating back over 700 years, are missing. Where did they go? Were they destroyed or were they stolen? Whispers of a conspiracy emerge here, an organized effort perhaps by European colonial powers to seize and suppress Timbuktu's ancient knowledge. Some believe the manuscripts were hidden by local scholars to protect them from invaders, and that their secrets remain buried, known only to a select few. Today, historians and treasure hunters alike search for these lost manuscripts, hoping to unlock the wisdom they contain. But this brings us to an even greater mystery. What exactly was in these manuscripts? Could they have contained knowledge that the world wasn't ready for? Advanced technologies or philosophies that challenged the dominant worldviews of their time?
I want to know what else is going to be found that hasn't been investigated yet at all. We're just touching the edge of a huge mystery.
Were these manuscripts lost to history or intentionally kept from the world? As we explore these questions, we are reminded that Timbuktu's story is not just about the past. It is a cautionary tale about the fragility of human progress. What knowledge have we, as a civilization, lost over the millennia? Could the lost wisdom of Timbuktu have changed the course of human history? As we dive deeper into the story of Timbuktu, an unsettling thought begins to emerge. What if the true wealth of this city was not in gold, but in knowledge? And what if that knowledge was too dangerous for the world to possess? Timbuktu's scholars compiled manuscripts on topics ranging from astronomy to medicine, from theology to mathematics. By the 15th century, Timbuktu housed an estimated 700,000 manuscripts, forming one of the largest intellectual archives of the time. But here's where the mystery deepens. Much of this vast collection has vanished. Entire libraries were raided, collections disappeared, and even today, many manuscripts remain unaccounted for. Some of the surviving texts mention ideas that seem far ahead of their time, such as advanced mathematical concepts and detailed astronomical observations. There are even cryptic references to knowledge of the cosmos that surpasses what we believed was understood in the 14th and 15th centuries. Could it be that Timbuktu's scholars possessed knowledge far beyond what we know today? And if so, who or what was responsible for the suppression of this information? Some researchers point to the colonial history of Africa. As European powers began their conquest of the continent in the 19th century, they systematically dismantled much of the region's cultural heritage. And there are rumors that the French in particular seized many manuscripts from Timbuktu and shipped them back to Europe. Others suggest that these texts were deliberately hidden or destroyed because they contained information that could challenge the scientific revolution taking place in Europe. The truth remains elusive, but what we do know is that Timbuktu's intellectual legacy has only been partially uncovered. Many of the remaining manuscripts are locked away in private collections, deteriorating from neglect. Could these hidden texts hold the answers to the mysteries that still surround Timbuktu? But the intrigue does not end with the manuscripts. Archaeologists working in the region have uncovered ruins of other ancient cities near Timbuktu, suggesting the area was part of a larger, interconnected civilization. Some of the stones used in Timbuktu's structures weigh several tons and were transported from quarries miles away. How could these feats of engineering have been accomplished without modern machinery? And could there be a connection between the builders of Timbuktu and the ancient Egyptians? Adding to the mystery, some of these structures remain unfinished, as though the builders abruptly stopped their work. Why would a city so rich in knowledge and wealth suddenly fall into decline? Environmental changes may provide part of the answer. As the Sahara continued to expand, trade routes shifted, and the resources that once sustained Timbuktu dwindled. But others suggest that external forces may have played a role. Some theorists argue that jealous foreign powers or even secret societies conspired to bring about the city's downfall. One of the most persistent theories involves the lost riches of Timbuktu. According to legend, Mansa Musa's wealth wasn't only in gold. He may have possessed ancient artifacts and manuscripts from a forgotten civilization. Some believe that these treasures remain hidden beneath the city, waiting to be discovered. Could Timbuktu's greatest secret be something far more valuable than gold? As we conclude our journey, one thing is clear: Timbuktu's mysteries are far from solved. What knowledge was lost, and why? What still lies hidden beneath centuries of sand and secrecy? Recent efforts to preserve Timbuktu's heritage have been met with both success and challenge. Instability in the region and the harsh desert climate threaten the remnants of the city's once great libraries. Yet, new archaeological techniques such as ground-penetrating radar have revealed that entire sections of the city may still be buried. Could these hidden chambers hold the answers to the questions we've been seeking? Or could they contain even greater secrets? Secrets that could reshape our understanding of history, civilization, and the very nature of knowledge.